Okay, so we've made a new document in Photoshop, and now I'm going to give you a quick tour of the main interface. So here you can see our canvas document area, and we've got some space around the outside. Down at the bottom here we have some size information, the percentage view that we've got, and the document size down here, just to give you a little bit of a help in hand when you're looking at things. Over here you've got the tab of what the document is that you've got open. If you've got a few, then they'll stack up along here. On the left hand side then you have various tools, which I'm not going to go into all of, but I'm just going to show you that you hold your mouse over it, whatever the tool is, and it gives you the keyboard shortcut for that particular tool. So some of the tools have these tiny little arrows in the bottom right corner, and so what they are pop-out ones with more options. So for instance, with this marquee tool, you've got the regular rectangular one, then there's elliptical, and then there's single row or single column. Similar sort of situation here with the lasso, polygonal, magnetic. Different versions of the selection tool, the old one and the new one, etc. So you should experiment with those, see what they do and how well they work for you and what you're wanting to do. Also, some of the tools have shortcuts that you can just press on the keyboard. So you could hold down spacebar, for instance, and it will jump to the hand tool. So I'm just pressing space, and now I can move things around. I think the move tool, let's go to that one, the move tool, there you go, is command. Also, up at the top here, you have more controls for these particular tools that you've got down here. So I've selected the move tool, and up here we've got some options, and this isn't the default that it's set to here. I've got it set to auto select, and then I've chosen layer over group. You can also add show transform controls so that it would give you handles on a box so that you could move and resize the image around that you've selected on the canvas area. If you want to reset things, you can control and click on that little tool in that top left corner. You can reset that specific tool or all the tools. So if we reset them all, yep, there we go. So now you can see that is auto select group, and I'll just go and click that back to the way I like it. So let's just go down here and let's have a look at the type tool. We have a look, there's various different versions of the type tool: horizontal and vertical, horizontal mask and vertical mask. We'll just use the horizontal type tool. And then I'll tell you what, let's make this background white so that we are not getting confused. So I'm just going to use the paint bucket, which is hiding underneath this gradient tool, and I'm going to give us a white background. So you can see here I've got the foreground, which is black, and the background, which is white. Here's a little shortcut, and here's a way of flipping them around on this little arrow. Okay, so we've got flip that around to white, and I'm just going to use the bucket. Right, so it won't let me do this, so let's just go and make a new layer down at the bottom here, and now should be able to tip the bucket. I'm going to press Command and plus a few times just to fill the screen, and now I'm going to go back to my type tool over here. I'm going to type some words. Type some words, which we can't see. We reset all the tools, remember, up here, so we're not getting much up there. And let's just drag that over so now we can see where we are. So let's have a look. Use the type tool, double click on here, and up at the top we've got the settings for this particular tool. I've just selected all the text that I just typed in there. So let's just select that and we'll change the colour. So with the colour picker, we have, this is already set to only web colours, but if we want all colours, then we can go and move around in here with our cursor and pick another colour. So I'm just going to pick black, and there you can see I've typed some words. That's all the spaces that I put in by accident. Over here we've got the fonts that are available to us on this computer, and so I can click on here and I can scroll up and down, and you can see that there's loads of different fonts. And one of my favourite little shortcuts is to select in that box just by clicking, so you see how I just selected it. So the cursor's not flashing in there, I just want it selected. Hang on a minute, let's do that again. There we go, so that's selected now, and what I should be able to do is just use the cursor key to tap down and see all the different typefaces that I have on my computer. See different versions of what I've got typed in. You can also type in a word here. So if I put in Helvetica, then I can get Helvetica. You've got options for the different weight, light, whether it's oblique or italics, and whether it's bold or not as well. Over here, next to it, we've got little t to big T and 12 point. So here we can just go and select the various numbers from there to make the text bigger or smaller. Or as you can see, when I put my cursor here, we've got a finger swiping left to right. So because this is selected, I can just click and drag, and I can make this text bigger and smaller. The next option here is this anti-aliasing method. So you can see that this is a little bit pixelated around the edges, and without it being selected it is still a little bit pixelated. If we change that to none, then it's very pixelated. So you might want to put it onto smooth, which is smooth it out a little bit. When you're viewing it at 100%, then you shouldn't see that pixelation. So if we press Command and 0, it's tiny, but we're seeing it all right there. So let's just double click on that and make it much bigger, and there we go. So that looks pretty smooth. You've got other options here for the alignment of the text. We've showed you the colour. This is horrendous in here, so don't use warp text. Let's cancel that. But this is really useful. These are the character options. So in here, oh yes, so all these little tabs can pull off, and things will appear in this tab bar over on this right hand side. So here we've got the character options, so you can see what font I've got selected, Helvetica Bold. You can see the size, I can still change the size of it here. We can play around with the line spacing, so if we just hit that and press return, and that one, so you can see these have got big gaps in between them, but if we go and play here with that selected, then we can squidge all of these letters up, or these lines up rather. The one underneath it, this is a tracking of these letters that we've got, so we can squish those together as well, like that. And so you can play about with how the text looks next to each other, and you can see with Helvetica it's a bit of a strange typeface because there's irregular gaps between things. For instance here, if we look at this W and O, it looks like there's a bigger gap between the W and the O than the O and the R. So if you just select in between these two letters, and you can go to the kerning, and you can click and you can drag and you can move parts of words around like that. You can also stretch words, type. I wouldn't do that. It might work for what you're doing. I don't particularly like it. And we've got the colour. that'll probably do from there. These little tabs, we can put them in here so that they're always accessible, or we can remove them from there. And you can see how I can just click on things like that, or I can just pull them out and then say I don't want that anymore and close it. Well, that's not disappearing. Nice example there. There we go, it's gone now. So let's just get that back again. There we go. Put that back there. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, so another thing that there is over on this side above where the character palette just popped out is your history. And this is really useful because it's undo, but it's undo more than once. So if you press that, you can see that it'll pop out and you've got a little thing that you can move down, and here we can go back in time through our document to the beginning. We can jump back here. So you can use this for various particular techniques. I'm just showing you because I want you to be aware that undo is not the end. If you go up to your Photoshop menu up at the top left corner and go to Preferences and then Performance, and in here you can see, not that you really would want to, how much RAM is available and how much it's actually using memory-wise, the piece of software. But over here, you've got your history and your cache, and here is your history state, and you can change that to whatever. And it takes up more memory of the computer. It might start to slow other things down. So you might want to stick it up to something a bit more if you think you're going to be messing up. I'm putting that to 75 now. Also over on the right hand side here, we've got some of the palettes. At the bottom here we've got our layers palette, and this is where most of the stuff's going to be going on with your document. This is where you can see your document and you can see that there's other things that make up your document. So over here you can see that you have one single layer, which is a background layer. That's the transparent one from the beginning. I made a second layer, which is layer 2, and that's the one I painted white with the paint bucket. If you double click on the text, then you can change the name of it. So let's call that white BG. And then here is a type layer, which has the text on it that we just made. Also, what you can do, as well as clicking on this to make new layers, you can change the order of them. So you can put one thing on top of or underneath another. So if we just, this is our active layer, this blue one. So if we just go and make a red circle, so I'm just going to select that, and I'm going to control and click and fill it with foreground color. Okay, and now if I use my move tool, I use my shortcut to my move tool, which is pressing the command key, and I can move this around and I can put that somewhere like that. So because of the layer order over here, text's at the top, red dot is underneath. But if I drag this layer up, then it's obscuring the type. We can put things in the bin. Do you want to put that in the bin? I've pressed the bin, yep. And you can also make folders, put things in folders. Yeah, so I can select a couple of these, shift, click on a few of those, and then I can drag them into that folder. And now I can turn everything on or off that's inside that folder. Up here is this colour picker, and there's some swatches as well. This is the same colour picker as you have over on the right hand side. Some things are repeated in this software. So if we click on that, you can see you can just click and drag your cursor around in here, and you've got a full range of different colours. You can pick web colours just to simplify your palette and make sure that things are going to work on the internet. And you can get all the different colour information with all of these different boxes here. So you've got RGB, 255, 51, 51, or hue, saturation and brightness. I don't know what LAB is, but you've got CMYK as well. Cyan, magenta, yellow and black. You've also got this hexadecimal code, which is a thing that you can pop into web authoring software to make a background colour, that particular colour. Okay, you can see if we pick black, it's just a load of zeros. These colours can be added to your swatches as well, so you can pick a particular colour and press add to swatches. Also, if you move your cursor off the colour picker, you can see that, I know I've only got two colours here, black and white, but my cursor has turned into a little pipette, and over here, new and current, it's showing me what colours I'm picking up. So you could just use that to select pictures from an image that you've got open in Photoshop as well. So let's pick sort of a yellow like that and add to swatches. We can call it some kind of yellow. Okay, and then if we go and have a look in our swatches, there's a new yellow has appeared at the end here. This is the one that we just made. Okay, so you can build up patterns of colour that you might want to use in your project. You can steal colours from posters or a photograph or whatever.